let's rip some packs. That's not what you guys were expecting, is it? Let's see if we can read this. Why do winners always win? Beats me. What's your favorite flavor of Laffy Taffy? Banana? Sour apple? Strawberry? Cherry? Post your answer in the comments. I'm going to open up, well, I already opened up these baseball cards, but we'll just flip through them real quick so I have you some baseball cards to show. Gleyber drives 5 runs. Manny Machado, Shane Green, Brandon Woodruff, Then and Now, Luke Voigt, Austin Romine, Jake Junis, Tyler Glasnow. After I show you these cards, I'm going to hit you up with something that I made mention of in an earlier video. One of my other hobbies. I'm going to show you a few pieces since I was cleaning some things up and getting ready to put them in a box. Yolmer Sanchez, Matt Beatty. You ever been to Beatty, Nevada? It's one of the towns you go through when you go to the Death Valley from Las Vegas. Willie Calhoun, Matt Chapman, Chappie, Colton Wong, Jose Osuna, Hernandez, don't know how to pronounce that first name, gonna have to go learn that. Luke Weaver, Max Muncy, Wilson Contreras, Oscar Mercado, RBI leaders, Yasmani Grandal, Brandon Belt, Brendan Rodgers, a couple of Cubs rookies, and Mike Fiers. Nice looking card. I like that. So that's the baseball cards. Just some little retail packs of Heritage 2020. So the other hobby, the other thing that I collect, I've been collecting for years and years, is actually pottery. I like to get pottery at the thrift stores and collect it. This one is actually a nice studio piece. But nice studio pieces are not always what I go for. What I actually collect is bad pottery. Bad pottery. Oops, made a mess of things. Maybe when I'm old and grumpy and retired, I'll start a bad pottery museum. What I actually like to collect are the things that are made by kids. When I was a kid, it was about 3rd or 4th grade. We did some pottery in school. They gave us a lump of clay. We just made something with our bare hands. They took it away and fired it and then brought it back. And speaking of fired, there's Mike Fiers. They brought it back and we painted it, and then they took it away and glazed it. And that's the kind of pottery that I collect. Little kid, handmade pottery from that kind of a project. Or maybe, you know, the daytime studio that they go to and just throw something together. Usually the uglier the better. Sometimes I get really nice pieces. Sometimes I get really hideous pieces, which is awesome. I still have that coffee cup that I made. Don't have it to show you today. Not 100% sure that all of these are that type of scenario, but just looking at the way that they're made and the way that they're labeled. This one was made by Bruce. You can tell it's really rough. They just rolled out the clay and made a bunch of patterns in it. Handmade. And I usually get these at thrift stores. This one, they almost always have a name like this scratched in the bottom, which is going to be different than something like a studio signature. You know, that's clearly a studio signature, and the quality of the work is clearly studio work. So somebody probably went to an arts and wine festival and paid $25 or $30 for this. I find them in thrift stores for many times less than $1. So it's nice. The uglier the better, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to have room to put all these, so I'm going to move them off to the side after I show them. Sometimes they don't have any marks on the bottom. Sometimes it's just written. Sometimes, you know, this one looks like it was pressed with corn or something, like they used corn cobs to press in the pattern. Really rough work, but I just love looking at all the little nuances. This one's really beautiful, this purple. The only name on there is KKC. So that's this is one of my favorites, actually. It's kind of a new one. Just the color and the bubbles and the shape. Pretty awesome. I've been stacking these things up on a file cabinet at work, and they've been getting all dusty, and today I was cleaning them up, getting ready to box them. Gotta clean up that area. It's getting pretty dirty, so before I box them, this one looks like it was made by Marina. I decided to go ahead and finally make this video. This one looks like we have Scott. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you remember doing any project like that when you were in school. And if you still have what you made. This one has these little rings around it. This is one of the more studio looking versions. I don't think it was a studio piece, but what is that? Rain, R-A-Y, can't quite tell what the name is, but it, you know, it doesn't look like a, I mean, it's a nicer finish and everything, but it doesn't, I don't think it's an actual studio piece, obviously. Just somebody making do with things that they have on hand. This one's pretty cool too. Looks like they tried to make like a wood grain by scratching it in there. So this is a telltale sign. This was Todd M. in room 10. So clearly that's going to be a grade school project. I think after grade school you start moving rooms around, but in grade school they have you assigned to a room generally. So probably less than 5th grade. I don't know how they end up at the thrift store. In my family, when kids make stuff like that, it's kept forever. So maybe some families aren't like that, or maybe, you know, grandma's gone, or they're downsizing to a retirement home or something, and they just got to get rid of everything. It's kind of sad, but if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have this. Now we're coming up to some of my very, very favorites. This one never even got finished, apparently. Dinosaur CIP. This is one of my all-time favorites. this dinosaur. I love the texture. I love this guy so much. He's really cool. Put him right there. And then this one is kind of delicate. I don't think it was ever fired. So that's the other thing. If I see a pumpkin, I'm sold. Pumpkins, love pumpkins, especially pottery. Oh, there's a little fly on there. So Elise Diaz, P6, so probably period 6. So this might have been like a middle school where they had kids coming into different periods, moving around from classroom to classroom. Elise Diaz, period 6. I absolutely love this one. Actually, a little triangle was broken out of his eye, and I just colored that part in with a Sharpie. But that's a pretty hideous pumpkin. I love that guy. It's one of my favorites. I have a whole bunch more of these. The file cabinet that I was cleaning off today, I have about 35 different pieces of pottery. But all in all, I probably have about 200 that I've gotten at thrift stores. Now this one, I don't know if this was a studio piece or not a studio piece. The one thing that kind of makes me think it might have been a studio piece is that the top is fired. I mean, the top is glazed and the bottom is not. And I think with the type of children's pieces that I usually collect, they wouldn't have been able to send those instructions off to the studio who was firing it. So I think this might have been made by a professional. One of the coolest things is the little eyes and mouth, made obviously just by printing a thumbnail in there. It's kind of personal little touches like that. Got this one at an estate sale that was mostly furniture, and I wasn't really shopping for furniture, but they did have some knickknacks on the shelf, so I grabbed that at an estate sale. And you ready for some of the ugliest ones? The really ugliest ones. We got this guy. Can you even tell what that is? Now that's interesting. I never noticed that. This was made by Elise. I wonder if it was the same Elise. I wonder if I got these in the same place. I don't even remember. That's kind of odd. Anyway, that's a little pig. I don't know if you can probably tell now. It's a little pig. He's really cute. I mean, he's really ugly, which makes him awesome. The uglier the better. We got this one here. This one's a little tiny one. I don't see any initials. This one might have been something made at home. It doesn't look like it was fired. It obviously wasn't glazed, but this little turtle, he's pretty cool. And then we got this guy here. I guess this is a little chihuahua. Man, he is ugly. Look at those eyes bulging. Creepy looking dog. But that's something I collect besides baseball cards. Wherever I go traveling, I always try to hit some thrift stores and see if I can find something from there. So thanks for watching. And remember, tell me what's your favorite flavor of Laffy Taffy. Or send me some jokes from your Laffy Taffy wrappers.